just want to thank everyone for being here this morning. I'm Troy Edel, Director of Conservation Stewardship. I'm one of the lucky people who is fortunate enough to have an office here, and we appreciate all of you for being here on this day to honor the extraordinary gift that the Wattles had made to New Jersey Audubon, and certainly as one of the beneficiaries of who's lucky enough to be able to have their office in this location, we are very pleased and grateful for the opportunity to add this to our overall acreage in New Jersey. So thank you very much. But I just
I want everyone to take a moment and look in 360 degrees and forget the cars that you all brought today, but look 360 degrees and think about what you're seeing. So right now, what you're seeing is preserved habitat. Everything that you see in 360 degrees is permanently preserved. The Wattle Sanctuary and Preserve here, across the river, it's Musconetcong River. It's wild and scenic, federally designated. That's Point Mountain Reservation over there. That's 1,000 acres. This property and Point Mountain would not exist if it wasn't for the foresight and the generosity of the Wattles family. This whole valley is permanently preserved because of the Wattles family, and it's a real honor for us to be selected as stewards for the property. It gives me great pleasure today to thank the Wattles for entrusting New Jersey Audubon to be the perpetual stewards of this magnificent property. We are deeply honored to have chosen. Troy talked to you about the sunflower and the programs we're doing with that, and we have a present for you. I'll let you open it. Thank you. This is Regina's photograph.
Well, this is a wonderful occasion and a great reward for what myself and my mother tried to get started years ago and continue on. And I'd like to thank Mark Levy and Tom Gilmore, the entire board, and all the staff for a tremendous response to what we wanted to initiate. I've had a long time devotion to conservation. I grew up next to the Great Swamp, and my grandfather Bain was involved with the efforts to save the Great Swamp from becoming New York's fourth jetport. And so I've had some background with what it means to save something that is a very precious resource. And I've enjoyed my mother's continuing efforts. Back in the 1950s, she lived in New York and wanted to participate in the countryside as her father had done. And so she decided to acquire this farm, an original 120-acre piece, and she became very enthralled with the land around it. And so over the years, she acquired little pieces as they came up, and she ended up acquiring about 350 acres in Warren County, all of it contiguous, and across the river she acquired eventually another 600 acres of contiguous land, and we ended up with a very nice watershed piece on the Musconetcong. In 1986, my mother turned the property over to me, except for the house, which she kept while she was still alive, and she sadly died in 1989, and so I took over the house and operated the farm. We were farming about 240 acres, and I made the move of putting the additional forestry, which is close to 600 forestry land, into the forestry program. And so we managed that according to those tenets. And I operated the farm, first as crop farming and then later leasing out the land to farmers so that we continued the traditional use of the land. And along about the late 90s, I decided that the land should go into conservation, which was my mother's original objective. And so we ended up putting 275 acres into the Hunterdon County Park system, and then the balance of the 600 a few years later was put into that. And along about 2008, 2009, we decided to place the balance of the farm in some sort of conservation. And so we worked out that about 110 acres went into green acres along the river, and about 200 acres were placed into the Warren County Farm Preservation Program, where the land was transferred to them, and they in turn will place it with farmers with a permanent farming only restriction on it. And the balance of about 50 acres in the house and barn and facilities, Audubon agreed to take on as one of their field operating stations. And we were just delighted with that disposition, and I must say that you have done it absolutely proud. And the uses to which you're putting it are very consistent with what I wanted to see and what I'm sure my mother would have enjoyed, having a strong administrative center here with statewide outreach and a stewardship presence and a teaching capability. And I think that combination of use is wonderful, and I think you have enough land that you can show small operating examples here of the things that you want to see perpetuated around the state. And I think the service that you are doing to environmental balance is tremendous. And I commend you for the way you've done it. The way you've treated the property and the way you've handled the house and facilities speaks for itself. So this is a wonderful blending of lots of effort, some excellent objectives, and some very hard work. And so I'd like to thank you all for the wonderful initiative that you've gotten going here. And I'm sure that it's going to produce a lot that's quite significant and that will have an effect on the local area and the rest of the state, and maybe there'll even be a little national notice to the sort of things that you're getting done. So thank you very much. This is wonderful.
In the year 2000, we set out a 10-year master plan. And part of that master plan was to have an environmental center within 20 miles of every child in the state of New Jersey. Right now, with the opening of this center, 98% of the children in the state of New Jersey are within 20 miles of an Audubon center, and I'm going to declare mission accomplished. We're having lunch down there, and then I wanted to point out our environmentally friendly lawnmowers. And that fence is movable, so we move the lawnmowers around. And after lunch, Troy is going to show you all my new office. And when I asked him to do that, he said, "Where's your new office?" I said, "Your old office." This is a beautiful place, and I can't thank the Wattles family enough for what they've done for this region, for Hunterdon County, for Warren County, for this valley. And again, we are deeply honored to be chosen as the perpetual stewards for this property, and we'll do you proud. We're going to have lunch over by the tent, locally grown.